Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, we had some fun streaming last night, playing the game Nurikabi World. Maybe that's got me in the mood for non-Sudoku. So this is an interesting one. This is a new type of puzzle by Nicola Spindler. And, well, Nicola didn't give us... This is possibly the first occasion in a very long time where a puzzle has been sent to us without a pseudonym for the writer. That's not always provided. So, and often authors want to be known by their own actual name. But also not even a title for the puzzle. That's quite unusual for both to be absent. So I've used the word that Nicola used for grid in his email. And so this puzzle is now called Game Board by Nicola Spindler. We do sometimes have to make little decisions about titling, and we often rewrite the rules to be in our kind of house style and succinct, especially the succinct bit. So that does happen. Anyway, we will look at this puzzle in a moment. It's not a Sudoku. It's not wildly dissimilar, but it is not a Sudoku. Normal Sudoku rules do not apply. I'll go through the rules in a moment. Now, on Patreon, for the $3 a month Patreons and above, the first of my own marathon epic to complete Blobs' quest of The Hobbit is... a video is up, and I get through, I think it's 7 puzzles in this first video. So you will guess it's not a short video. And Blobs' The Hobbit hunt was excellent. And I mean, unparalleled. 19 puzzles. So believe me, there are multiple videos of solutions to come. The first one's gone up today. There will be others. And on February the 1st, we will be bringing you a new hunt by Panthera, the Asylum, and other collaborators. And we're really looking forward to bringing that to you. There is a character called Maverick in it, as I trailed last night during the stream. Anyway, it's going to be good fun. There's great artwork again as well. Now, that's the sort of thing you don't get if CTC prepare the hunt. Anyway, that is coming up on the 1st of February. So our Patreon's a great place to go for extra content, especially extra Sudoku, but also crossword videos, connections videos, loads of stuff. And do join us there. It's great fun. Somewhere else you can hang out is the Discord server, where there's always all sorts of chat. There's, of course, also our apps, which are featured in links in the description field, and they do feature Fog of War Sudoku, our latest app, which is proving very popular. We've got merchandise, and we've got SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD as well, so do check that all out on the links under the video. But the first link is to this puzzle, which is now Game Board by Nicola Spindler, and I'm going to try and describe the rules. White cells must be filled, but grey cells without a given digit are not filled. Digits cannot repeat in any row or column. And that is normal enough. There are no boxes, no regions in this one. A block of white cells in a row or column. And what counts as a block? Well, it's a bit like Kokoro. So those two is a block of cells, and those 3. I've just realized that on the rule set I'm reading, it specifies the wrong set. Anyway, that 3 is a block of cells. That'll be fixed by the time you try and solve this. That is a block of cells in row 2. So any white cells in a contiguous run in a row or in a column is a block of cells. And a block of cells contains a series of consecutive digits in any order. It's like it's a renban, if you're familiar with the old purple or pink lines. And therefore, this group of cells could be, in theory, 5, 6, 7 or 6, 7, 8, but in any order. So those are the rules. It's unusual. It feels like a mixture between Kokoro and renban to me. Dunno. Maybe Sudoku is really the driver. Anyway, I'm going to give this a go. Nicola had it tested by a number of people and rated it very hard, which is the word trepidatious a word? It makes me a bit fearful. Anyway, let's get cracking, see how we go. So 9 is a white cell here. So these, well, these must both be 7, 8, 9 triples. That must be, and that must be. Actually, let's look at the white cells with digits in. So 4 there has to have 3 or 5 as its partner. That 4's a bit more wide open. Let's do 6 first, which always has to have 5 or 7 as its partner. Now 4 here. I mean, this is a great puzzle to make use of SVEN'S software and the ability to put candidate marks in the center of cells. And I imagine we will get to, yes, straight away. Look, one of these 2 cells has to be a 3. Because of that 1 and that 6, this group of cells is either 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5. So one of these is definitely a 3, and that's what I mean. Oh, I've just realized, normally I use these corner marks to denote positions within a region to which a digit is confined. But I've only got rows and columns. Yeah, you see, that's tricky. There's got to be a 3 in this set as well, actually, because of that 6. This is either 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5. And now the pencil marks might end up confusing me. That's a corner mark for the row, and that's a corner mark for the column. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, there's a 7 in that row, so actually that's determined as an 8. That's a 7. I think a lot of the difficulty of this puzzle might be in the scanning, if I'm honest. That has to be a 9 because of that 7, and then that's an 8, and we've completed this little tail. By the way, I do note that the puzzle is fully symmetrical in terms of where the grey cells are. Someone like me, who is a kind of old crossword hand, appreciates that. Now, if that is 7 or 8, this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Obviously, it can't be 7. This is also 6, 7, 8, or 9. Ah, and one of these is definitely an 8, obviously. Knowledge bomb. Therefore, one of these must be a 9. So I'm going to persist with the corner marks until they cause trouble. And that means this group of cells, which is 8 long, is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Not that helpful, but it does mean there's not a 1 in the group. Ah, now, this group, that can't be a 2, obviously, but this group can't include a 1 because of that 2, if you see what I mean. If you had a 1 in this group, you'd need a 2 in it, but we can't do that in this column. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. And now my pencil marks are proliferating a bit dangerously. There's a lot of them around. But I'm going to persist. Ah, this is good. This group of cells cannot have 2 or 3 in it because you couldn't get to a stretch of 3 cells without hitting either 1 or 4. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. Not only that, I mean, I'm looking at that pair as well, because now this is a quintuple of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the column, and that's going to make that cell a 3. Now, what I was also thinking was we get more from that, because there must be a 7 in this group. In fact, well, we'll see in a moment what happens. I was going to say, in fact, this is either 5, 6, 7 or 7, 8, 9, because that has to be accommodated. But there is a 7 in that group, therefore this cell becomes 8, and that's going to give us 7 and 9 and not 9. And now this group is 5, 6, 7. That's good. I mean, I don't know, there's been some interesting thinking, but this hasn't been as hard yet as trailed. I mean, there's still plenty of time for it to get harder. This digit, the trouble is, once that's 5, 6, or 7, this could be anything from 4, 5, anything from that sequence or one either end of it. So 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. On the other hand, it does see 4 and 7 in the column, so that is 5, 6, or 8. Now, this is quite limited. Have we got a quad here of 5, 6, 7, 8? Not quite. But I think maybe I can remove 5 from this. Okay, let me just think about this a bit. If that was 7, 8, this is definitely 5, 6, and then that's not a 5. If this is 7, 6, this could be 8, 9. Yes, that's certainly not been ruled out. Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, I feel I'm missing a trick on this column. Not sure quite what it is. But I probably need to do something else. So what we learnt in this column was that columns with multiple sets are actually quite interesting. Let's have a look here. We've got 9, 8, 7 and 4 have been used. So these two pairs that I've got highlighted, one of them can come from 1, 2, 3, but both can't. So the other one is a 5, 6 pair. So 5, 6 and 2 are definitely going to be used in this row. I'd quite like to pencil mark that, but that would be a pencil mark stretching across 5 rows. I mean, it would look like this, which is a bit, not just messy aesthetically, which it is, but messy in terms of what I would think those pencil marks meant when I came across them later. So I'm a bit nervous to do that. I'm not going to do it, actually. I'm going to try and find something else. Right, in this row, oh, bingo, this is a lovely row. And think about parity in this row. So we've had 2, 4 and 8, 3 of the even digits. This is a run of 3 cells. But they must have an even digit. As you go through any 2 cells of consecutive, you hit an even digit, obviously. And the only even digit left is a 6. We can't have 2 even digits, so this must be a 5, 6, 7 triple. And that's a 3. I mean, there'd have been ways of seeing that by trial and error, but the kind of parity elimination way is very neat. Now, that might, I mean, we're getting a lot of 5, 6, 7s around this grid now. This cell touches 5 or 6, and it can't be 7, so it's 4, 5 or 6. Now we're getting quite a few of these in the row. Oh, 8 is there in column 1. So this group of cells could be 7, 6, 5, but it can't go any higher up the numbers. It could go lower, but there's definitely a 5 in it. And I am pencil marking that. It could be 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 7. Does that have impact on this? No, not really. I mean, I was about to say this is from 1, 2, 3, 4, but I've got to be careful, because if this was 3, 4, 5, this could be a 7, 6 pair. Now, let's look at another multiple row. How about column 3 or column 4? 7 is gone. Surely one of these pairs is going to be 8, 9? No, not necessarily. They could be 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 1. Okay, well, maybe it's not quite as... Oh, I mean, these 2 digits are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we've had the big numbers go up here. Now, this is therefore from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. And I think it can't be 1. Didn't we work out this set of digits was 2 to 9? We did. I don't know, it's quite interesting. I feel like I'm wondering if I can deduce that one of these pairs is an 8, 9 pair, which I would know which way round it would... Oh no, they're definitely not. Ah. Oh, well, that's very surprising. Right, I'm looking at columns 3 and 4 again. And obviously, these sets do not use the digits 8 or 9. The only cell there that could possibly be a 7 is that one. And they don't use 8 or 9. So I was assuming that in one case, at least, one of these would use 8 or 9. But I don't think either of these can. If you were to put a 9 in one of these two cells, well, you'd need an 8 in this group of 3 white cells, and that 8 prevents that. It also prevents you putting an 8 in either of these cells. So in neither case can this be an 8-9 pair. Now, I was going to say, brilliant, these are all from the low end. But I've suddenly realised, what if that was a 7 and that was an 8 in column 4? That would be a 5, and that would actually be doable. Oh, this can't be an 8 just by scanning. Ah, right, and that's great. So that now this can't be a 7, because what would it go with when that would make 5, 6 here? So these are low. These two dominoes are both lower than the given digit in their column. This can't be 7, 8, because whatever digit went there is breaking the bottom row. So this is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's providing a sextuple in the column. Now, I'm just wondering, yeah, since this is below 6, this group of cells must be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't run through this 6. And now we do have a quintuple in the column, and that becomes a 7. And I mean, I say that as though that is the key to the whole puzzle. It's absolutely not. It just places one digit. But it's still, I find it quite interesting. No, yes, call me nerdy. Now, the even digit in that pair is a 6, so that can't be a 6. In fact, look at these 3 triples in column 3. We've got to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in these 3 dominoes. So one of them is clearly 1, 2, because 1 must go with something. One of them, therefore, is 3, 4, because then 3 must go with something. And one of them is 5, 6. And this domino has 5 as its odd number. So that is the 5, 6 domino. And I can remove 5 and indeed 6 from all the other cells. One of these is a 1, 2 pair. The other is a 3, 4 pair. Now, I also feel like I'm learning a bit about how the puzzle is put together as we go, although maybe not quickly enough. I'm wondering now about this column again and whether I really did enough work. So, oh, it's so obvious that this isn't a 5. No, it's not. Yeah, well, it is. It is now, since we reduced that to 5 or 6. If that was a 5, that would have to be a 6, and that would break this cell. So that's not a 5. Basically, what I was getting there is that this domino comes from below 4. And that means this digit is 1 or 2, as it can't be 4 or 3. This is a 7-cell sequence across the middle, just as that is down there. And I haven't really been approaching those because there's quite a bit of variability. They do each have to have the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in, but that doesn't necessarily help me at the moment. Now, I've never looked at this row with triple possibilities. It is another very brief thought. While I'm pretending to look at that row, I'm actually looking at this one. For this is either the digits 1 to 8 or the digits 2 to 9. If there was a 9 in this row, where on earth would it go? Not more to the... I was kind of thinking, since this row can't have an 8 in, maybe that's difficult. But actually, I can see ways... Now, I don't think this can be a 9, because the highest this digit can go is 6. Ah, well, that's... Yeah, that may be in itself quite interesting. That can't have a 4. I don't know. I'm sort of scouting around, trying to look for a way to progress at the moment. Not finding it at the moment. I'm wondering about this 3 and 4 set. They've got to have a lot of similar digits in, I feel. Now, this is 5, 6, or 7. None of these cells can contain a 9. Those two see 9s in their rows. This one, this is more intricate, I think. This can't contain a 9 because of that. If there was a 9 in this row, it would have to be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I mean, it's not that intricate. But that's impossible now because of the pencil marking there. So none of these are a 9. And that's quite interesting. The highest they can go is 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, but the lowest they can go is something I hadn't really bargained on. I suppose they could be 5, 4, 3, 2. They definitely have a 5 in. And now the pencil marking's going crazy. Those 5s are both for their columns. I mean, that's quite interesting in respect of this, which is now restricted to being 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and there may be ways to rule that out, or 7, 8, 9. Right, it's not 7, 8, 9 because this cell is impossible then. It's not 4, 5, 6. Sorry, not 4, 5, 6 was not an option. 6, 7, 8. I don't think this is 6, 7, 8 because that cell would have to be a 6 to make that a 5 and that a 4. And that would break this pair. So it's not 6, 7, 8, and it's not 7, 8, 9, and it doesn't have a 5 in. It is selected from 1, 2, 3, 4. That is now fact. And look, I thought I'd reached a septuple, a word I don't often get to use. Maybe I have. This is, oh look, 7 and 4 have gone in this column. Good grief, this is 5 or 6. That's even an 8. I can just write this in if I spotted it. Now I have reached a septuple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. So this must be an 8. That's funky. I like it. Right. Now this digit, I'm going to say 4, 5, 6, or 7. Maybe I could narrow. No, hang on. Let's look at this row again. Where does 7 go? Only one possible position. There. Now this is a 5, 6 pair in the bottom row, and that can't be a 5. 6 is in one of those 2 cells, but that is not a useful limiting factor. Oh, I'm just going to look. I'm not really counting one cell blocks as blocks, but this digit on its own is quite interesting. I'd marked that 3 earlier, and I haven't used that at all. I'm using it now. This digit can't be a 3, or obviously 4, 1, 6, or 8. Now, theoretically, it's 2, 5, 7, or 9. It clearly can't be a 9, because it would have to go with an 8. It actually clearly can't be a 7, because whatever would you put here can't link to that cell. So we're now down to 2 or 5, and that's a triple in the row, 2, 3, 5. I think I've done that right, so that's a 7. And this isn't a 7. And that was a very surprising find as well. This puzzle has a lot of interesting stuff. Look, I've got 5 pencil marked up there. So that is not a 5, that's a 2. And we get some go forward on the right now. Got a 2 in place here. Didn't limit which of these was a 6. This central row, if that was a 5, this would be 6, that would be 4. This would have to be a 1. Can it be a 1? No. In fact, well, it can be a 9. No, it can't be a 9. Right. This cannot be a 9 because it's in a row with a 2. It can't be a 1 because it's in a 7-cell column with an 8. So 9 and 1 are ruled out, as are 2, 3, 7, and 8 by horizontal and vertical scanning. So this is 4, 5, or 6, and that is a triple. And this has to join on one end or the other. It's 8 or 1. I think we know it's not 1 because that couldn't join on with 5, 6, or 7. So that's an 8. And this is now I want to say this is 8765. Yeah. According to what I did, yes, we worked out none of these cells could be a 9, so it is. And that's a 5-6 pair because of these 7s, so that's a 7. Wow, this is very clever. Oh, I'm starting to wonder about getting out colouring in a moment. Oh, by the way, this is 1 or 3. Now, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 set. So again, we have this issue of 3 dominoes, one of which is 1, 2, one of which is 3, 4, and one of which is 5, 6. And the only odd digit available here is 5. So that's the 5, 6 domino. We get rid of 6 and 5 out of the others. Oh, this is, well, that's, given that these are all dominoes of consecutive digits, and that's odd, this one's even. And there's, of course, it's a 2, 3, 4 triple, so the only place for 1 in the row is there, so that's a 2, that's, well, this is 4, that's 3. This is now 6, that's 3, this is not 3. Don't know what it is. None of these are 3. These two aren't 2. Oh, it's quite a challenge to negate out cells we've done. So this row, we're finished. 5 and 4. That's now 6. That's now 5. I didn't need to get out the colouring tools for the 5s and 6s. 5 or 6 must appear in one of those cells. Yeah, I don't know which one. 6 only has one position in this row now. That does a whole bunch more 5s and 6s. Now, oh, now I was about to say 5 only has one position in this row. It is not true. It is not true. 5 has 2 positions. Okay, in this column, 3 cannot be here because it must be in that run of cells up there. So I'm removing that. This is either 1, 2, 3 or 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's look here. We need a 5 and either 2 or 9. Well, we cannot put 9 in those cells, so that's a 2, 5 pair. Now that eliminates the numbers 2 and 5. In fact, yeah, look at the candidates here. This can't be a 5 because that can't be 4 or 6. So that's a 2. That's a 5. This is 1 or 3 now. Now these can't, yeah, they can have a 5 in. That's become a 6 though. That's a 5. That's, these two are not 5s. This is 4. No, it's 6. This is either 7 or 4 from the column. It's 4 from the row. And I think we're going to finish off here. It's a very neat puzzle. I'd be very interested to know how you've found this, if you've tried it before watching the video. Haven't finished yet. We've still got to put a 5 in one of those cells. Now, hang on 1 second here. If that is 2 or 3 there, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, these are dominoes. So either we've got 1, 2 down here, and that's a 3, and that's a 4. Or we've got 3, 4 down here, and that's 2, and that's a 1. So that's 1 or 4. Now this one can't be 1 or 4. And 4 is definitely in this column, it's down here. So this is now a 4, 5 pair, and we know the order. And I've just mistyped a digit. That is not a 5. This is a 1, 2, 3 set now. That 5 makes this a 2. That makes this 1 or 4. This can't be 4. This can't be 4. This group needs a 3 in, surely. Just checking my logic. Yes, it does. That's there. This now is not a 3 or a 1. This is a 2. That's a 1. And then we can do 4 and 3 up there. That's now a 3. That must be 1. And this must be 2. And I think that completes it. Wow. That's a really interesting puzzle. Very unusual, but entertaining. I wouldn't have called it extremely difficult, but it's possible I got a bit lucky with some of the deductions in terms of the order in which I was making them. It's also possible I made a false deduction and got lucky with that. Does happen, as you know. Anyway, Very interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Do note that you couldn't just now populate the digit, the remaining cells with the missing digits, because for instance in this row there's nowhere to put a 7. You know, the grey cells don't fulfill the function of just being greyed out ordinary digits in a Latin square. This isn't a Latin square. It's a very clever construction by Nicola. So thank you for following us as always. It's such a pleasure. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or like the video, or leave a comment. Always grateful for comments. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.